What does Rick think of two Charlo fights? Look like they both have pretty tough outings this time around.
Yeah, well, they are both in tough. Derevyanchenko is a tough guy, and Charlo's never had to show any heart in any of his fights, so he will have to show heart against Derevyanchenko, and he'll have to show a chin because Derevyanchenko's coming to win. Derevyanchenko got offered more money to fight Canelo than he did for this fight here, and he still took this fight. So he's very confident he can beat Charlo, and he wasn't confident he could beat Canelo. So this was the fight for him. Very tough fight. The other fight, Jerson, I that's a tough fight too. I mean, I could see both Charlos losing. I can see both Charlos winning. It's a very tough fight. It's two great fights. Jerson can't be in a bad fight. Jerson Revo can't be in a bad fight, and Charlo will make it with that he's not in a bad fight because that machismo mentality will come out a little bit, and Jerson will force himself on him, and he can punch, and it's going to be both. I could see both Charlos losing. It's that good. Those are two great fights. It's probably the two fights that I'm excited about most of the Showtime announcement today of all their fights. Even though we all knew those two fights were in waiting, but they weren't officially announced. But I knew they were in the process. But I'm excited about both fights. It's a doubleheader on Showtime pay-per-view. I don't think it does well on pay-per-view. I don't think the Charlos are pay-per-view attractions, and I don't think the two guys are fighting are pay-per-view. I know they're not, so I don't think it does well on pay-per-view. But I do think that they're great fights. But artistically, financially, I don't think it's too. I think it's a bloodbath. To be honest with you.
Rick Glazer think it's a bloodbath, and that's interesting though. It's interesting though because normally this doesn't appear to fit in the PBC model of playing it safe. So what Rick would you attribute this this shift? So
I think Fox. I think Fox and Showtime, even though all these fights were announced on Showtime, I think Fox and Showtime are sick of seeing, play it safe fights, and they want real fights, and these are real fights. Don't forget, Derevyanchenko is the #1 contender. He has to fight Derevyanchenko or flee. Okay, in other words, it's not like, well, we're going to take a tough fight. No, he's the #1 contender. Okay. So that's a big thing there. He has no choice. So it's either give up the title or fight Derevyanchenko. Okay. Now, the other fight, it's a unification bout. Heyman's got both guys. Charlo thinks he can win. It's what boxing's all about. The two best in the division fighting each other. And, they're two excellent fights. Like I said, I honestly believe they're going to be two great fights, but I also believe fiscally it's going to bomb.
Well, okay. But at least we're going to get two great fights out of it. Two very competitive fights. Particularly looking forward to the Charlo Derevyanchenko. That guy there, he comes. That guy's there comes to fight every single time. Okay.